Chapter 3A. I escaped my abusive domestic violence marriage, and I had managed to file for a divorce with an attorney. So Chapter 2 left off, and my kids and I were hiding in my parents' basement like it was the Underground Railroad from my ex. After he had left the house that night, like I said, I had discovered later that he had had a gun in his truck, but they didn't know where we were. So I had made the right decision. We had stayed with my parents for, I want to say, a solid month. I want to say it was about a solid month. It may have even been slightly longer. Until I knew that it was safe and my ex had moved counties and was no longer in the area. He was staying at the residence where we were, and I told him that I would like him to remove his belongings from the home and to please do that. And we did not own this home, thank God. And I was just going for standard custody of my children. Again, at that point in time, to the best of my knowledge, he had never hit my kids. He had never hurt them. Again, he had made it so that we couldn't leave the house on a couple of occasions where I still was not, I didn't feel safe, I would say. But again, he had never hit my kids. I didn't like the way he was. I didn't like who he was as a human. But I knew that one, he was probably not going to be stripped of custody in the court system. And I had gotten that advice from my attorney. And again, if you're listening to this, it is very hard to take away parental rights from a parent, even if they've been in jail for really bad, horrible things. Very hard to get parental rights stripped away from a parent. And I wasn't going to fight that. I was like, they can see their father if they want to see their father. And that was fine. So what I was going for was standard custody. They would stay with me during the week so they could continue school where they were. He was moving out of the county, so we could meet up every other weekend. He would still have, visitation with them, and the holidays could get worked out, and I would have been flexible with that, and that would have been fine and well. He took me to court over the course of this divorce, and I'm not exaggerating and or kidding, more than 50 times. If I'm estimating in a proper manner, I want to say it was closer to 80, but it was definitely documented more than 50 times that he had taken me to court, mostly for the purposes of custody. Again, remember, I had written a check from his 401k for $3,500 to my attorney. And again, I cannot even figure out or calculate the amount of money that I had lost after leaving him multiple times and all the things, and the amount of money that I had contributed to our household working multiple jobs while he either didn't work or worked one job or barely worked one job. But that is not either here nor there. What I took out of that account was $3,500 to pay my attorney, and that was all I cared about. I didn't care about any other money. I wasn't going after anything else. I just wanted him out of my life, and I was tired of being bullied, beaten up, and all the things. Okay? All right. So it started out that he basically took me to court and called me everything but a woman. I would say that. He accused me of things that you would not believe, that were not even in the realm of my character. And when I would receive these things in the mail, I would start crying because I was like, how could he even accuse me of any of these things? Because I'm not that person. And I'm a working human being. At the employer that I was at, they did random drug testing and things. So the things that he had said that I had done weren't even physically possible, because I wouldn't be able to be employed where I was. I will say that, that far out of my character realm. Okay. I I don't know if I have copies. I'm going to have to try to see if I have copies in my archives somewhere. I had a file at one point in time called the fuckface file. I did. And it was a manila file folder with all of the things he had accused me of for all of the court cases. And again, it was like in our marital court case, but like, at least 50 documented times that he had written complaints about me having custody of our kids. And again, I wasn't taking his parental rights away. I just wanted normal custody of my kids. And every time we went, the judge in the beginning had already had a log of my documented abuse. And we had gone over all the different things. And every time the judge was like, no, she can have standard custody. You can have them every other weekend as agreed upon, blah, blah, blah. It was ridiculous. It was outlandish. It was unfathomable. And again, I've had concussions due to this relationship. I've had a couple of concussions in my life from I had one from falling off my bike in the driveway. Okay. So I'm like, was I brain damaged? I'm not real sure. But I look back at it now, and yes, it built character, and it dragged me through like the depths of hell, trying to fight for my kids, be stressed out, carry a full-time job and a part-time job on top of it. While I'm trying to fight for my kids, worry about their safety, worry about my safety, and do all of the other things that a mom has to do every single day. Get them on the bus, do all of the things that a mom would do, clean the house, be on the PTO, just survive as a human being. And then to deal with this on top of it was horrible. It was horrible. But I look back at it now, and if I can find these files, I think I'm going to publish them in my book. Like I'll take out the identifiers or whatever, But they were, a couple of them were written, and this mofo did not even know how to spell, at I don't even know, like a sophomore in high school level, I would say. Like that poor of whatever. But these still went in front of a judge, or at the very least in front of a mediator. So if you're going through all of this, just know that it gets better. It takes a long time, and the legal system is, well, you just know, especially if you're in today's times and you know where we're at in this world, Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm just thinking about it right now. And the things that were written about me were just ridiculous. Okay. I'm not even I'm not sad about it. I'm not going to cry about it, but I'm like, oh my, I'm just rolling my eyes, just wow. So anyways, I'm going to have to go look for those and see if I can post those in my book. But yeah, just staggering, outlandish, unfathomable untruths to try to get full custody of our children that was never going to happen. And this is the mofo that would show up in court. I'm dressed up a couple of the times the person that checks you in at the door, I don't remember the name of it now, but you're in the metal detectors in the court. You know what I mean? When you walk in, they had mistaken me for a lawyer. They had asked what case I had today. And I was like, no. I'm here for my divorce and my lawyer's not here yet. And they would be like, oh, you know what I mean? Showing up in a full length, peacoat sort of a situation, with dress pants and things. And this mofo would show up in black jeans with their belly hanging out over their belt and a polo they hadn't washed it in weeks, when they had the appliances in the home to do the laundry, but I didn't. Okay. So anyways, so went in front of a judge again. I would say, if I'm estimating right, probably about 80 times, but at least 50 documented times. And again, going to have to dig in my archives for the fuckface file, see if I can publish a couple of those, because if you read them and you know me as a human, you would laugh. You would laugh right now. You'd be like, yeah, right. Okay, whatever. So yeah. So we went to court all of these times. During the course of this, one of the years, he ended up claiming both of the children while they were with me in full custody, and he took my income tax refund away. And I got to pay the IRS for $2,000 almost, I think it ended up being. Yeah, while I had full custody of my children. So while I'm working multiple jobs, I got to pay the IRS back. And I had to pay for bills that he had caused because they were like, mutual bills. And I didn't really fight him for anything because I wanted him gone. Okay. In addition to that, there were like a couple of cable bills that he had ran up because we had like cable back in the day because we're ancient pre-COVID, like old people, right? And okay, so here's the most fun couple of things. So yeah, not only did I have to pay the IRS back for money that I didn't technically owe or shouldn't have had to owe, pardon me, because it was supposed to be 1-to-1. Like he was supposed to claim one of the children, I was supposed to claim one of the children. But at this point in time, it wasn't set in stone because he had taken me to court so many times, yeah? So he had ended up like snaking me going to file his taxes first. And so when I went to file my taxes, I found out, oh, great, he claimed both of the kids and now I get nothing and I owe the IRS money on top of all the things that I have to take care of, okay? So, and when you hear me do the snicker, it's just me laughing like it's fury coming out of me that I can't really exactly process because what am I going to go do? Rage against the machine outside? Go break one of my own windows? Yeah, no, not going to happen. Anyway. So all of these things, the most fun things, after I'd been to court all this time, I had started to accrue legal fees because the retainer, as you would well know, doesn't really cover much. And so I ended up like not being able to keep my lawyer because I didn't have the money because guess what? I had to pay the IRS back because, well, let me think here. Weigh the balances out and I'm like holding up both hands right now trying to balance scales, like midair, like my hands are going back and forth. So I ended up having to not be able to keep my attorney. I ended up paying the IRS back because of course that's important, and then during this duration he still kept taking me to court. So at the end of our divorce, the $3,500 that I ended up taking out of his IRA, I ended up not fighting it because I was done with this and I just wanted to move on with my life and be like a human being that doesn't get harassed. I ended up paying that back, like on a monthly basis. I'm not even kidding. Right? Who out there is being like mad on my behalf right now? I hope at least one person listening to this is, because that's effed up. Okay? All right, and now here's the most fun part. I'm going to see if I can find pictures of this too, because this is so fun. So fun. So he took me to small claims court after all of this was done. Okay? He had this piece of crap Mustang, a 1982 Mustang, Fox body style, and I'm not knocking the car. I'm not. Don't hate on me yet. Just listen. Just listen. This car was paid, like he paid $500 for this vehicle out of like what came from a scrapyard but was in a friend's yard. $500. The floor was rusted out completely. The shifter and the e-brake were gone. Okay? And he was going to work on it as a project car. Now, no. Again, don't hate on me. At one point in time in our lives, he would spend money on these fixer-upper vehicles. And our ratio of running vehicles versus non-running vehicles was like 4-to-1. So we had 4 vehicles sitting in the yard, non-running, and 1 vehicle that actually ran but barely, the one that I had to drive my children to doctor's appointments in down at like Woodward in Detroit, and I was scared. And that's a whole other story on its own. The car that I had to drive, I would hit to get the turn signals to work because it had like water damage and electrical problems, okay? Can you imagine being like a single mom? And this is where it gets fun. Being a single mom, your one baby is in a car carrier. Your child with epilepsy is around 4 to 5 years old, let's say, in the back seat in his car seat. And you are driving in Woodward scared. And you are pounding on turn signals to get them to work. And when the heater did not work, I had to use an ice scraper and I had to pound underneath my glove box so that I could see out of the windows while I'm in Michigan battling winter. Yeah. Yep. Okay. That was a 2002 Impala, by the way. Fun times. Anyway, onward and upward. So let's get back to where we're at, shall we? And again, if you've listened to me, you know that I have ADD. You know that I really don't edit my videos a lot. And there are even a couple of errors in some of my videos, and that's okay. Because that just proves to you that I'm human and I'm not AI, and that's okay because most of the time I pronounce my words right. And at least if I don't, I still put enthusiasm in behind them and like I don't sound like a robot, which is kind of cool. So anyway, he took me to small claims court over this car. So I digress. When he left, he did not take the car off the premises of the home, which I ended up moving back into again after he had left counties. It had sat there for months, and I wanted to pull my Blazer into a garage because I had a garage now that I could actually pull a vehicle into, which was like exciting to me at the time. Yay, especially in Michigan when it's snowing and cold and stupid out. Okay? All right. So the vehicle was in the garage on jack stands, and for years, yes, years, things were piled on top of it. This thing had Bondo all over it. It had like kids' sleds. It had all kinds of shit all over the top of it. I'm not even kidding, shit, just a bunch of crap. And when I cleaned out this garage with the help of one of my friends at the time, we ended up taking, I don't even know, like probably 60 effing contractor bags out of this garage from crap that didn't need to be in there. Okay? All right. So time went on. He came after me, took me to court, and demanded the title for this stupid car, which I could care less about. Please get the car out of here, is what I told my lawyer. Again, back when I had a lawyer before I had to pay the IRS off. Again, just laughing. We ended up pulling the vehicle out of the garage with jack stands. Like it was on top of jack stands. We got a truck. We ended up towing the car out to the edge of the premises of the property so that I could just get my vehicle in the garage. And the vehicle sat there for months and months and months and months. It sat there until July of the following year, and we're talking it was like November or December when I pulled it out. They were not able to pick it up until July of the following year. So 8 months, 7 months, something like that. Months, multiple months, almost a whole winter. But they needed to take me to small claims court about it because they claimed damage to the car and they demanded I'm not even kidding, $32,000. Okay, let this sink in. $32,000 damage on a $500 vehicle that had no insurance on it that sat there that wasn't registered. Okay? I'm not joking. It's a court case. I'm going to see if I have paperwork on that too. Just for fun, just for kicks. Just put it in the book. It'll look cute, right? Right. Okay. I think this took up my lunch hour, which is a half hour because I only get a half hour lunch, which is the dumbest thing ever. What are you going to do in a half hour? You can't eat lunch in a half hour. I'm not eating lunch in a half hour. I can't even get to the store in a half hour. I don't even know. So that's where we leave off. The $32,000 car. Oh, okay. Let me finish this. I digress. I'm going to go see if I have to punch back in. But the judge looked at him, laughed. I had pictures with dates on them showing how the car was stored, showing what the thing was. Oh, and he decided to take my son, my oldest son, who was brainwashed by him, who has epilepsy, who is still impacted by this, by the way. And I'll post up more about this later, but that's a whole other chapter on its own. He took him in, had him carry in the jack stands as his witness because we had so wrecked the car by pulling it off jack stands, and tried to put him up on the stand against me. To which the small claims court judge yelled at him and told him to not ever do that again in her courtroom or any courtroom, to not ever pin your child against the other parent. Okay. So after the judge rolled their eyes at him, they said, and I quote, Mr., and I'm not going to disclose his last name because, again, I'm writing this under an alias and I go by an alias on social media so that he can't come after me and sue me for, I don't know, probably $32 million. I don't know. That the vehicle brand new wouldn't have been worth $32,000. So he had no right to even come after me for that amount of money and therefore dismiss the case. Thank you, Judge. And then I got to, go back to work because I couldn't take the whole day off of work because I had to work to support my children because I wasn't getting child support at the time either. Oh, why is that? Because he didn't have a job at the time. Because you know why? Because his job was to come after me, harass me, and try to get $32,000 out of me when I had to work 2 jobs to support my children. Okay? All right. I love you all. I really got to go back to work. I'm over on my lunch. Much love. Have an amazing day. Remember to stay hydrated. Goodbye.